everybody, welcome to another episode. We are here in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, and we are going to do a video about the stadiums and arenas of Cleveland. We're going to hit 4 different venues for you, give you a little bit of an overview, and show you a few little secrets and hidden features that even I didn't know about, and I've been coming down to these venues most of my life. So, I hope you'll join me, and without further ado, let's get started. So here we have Progressive Field, home of the Guardians, newly renovated. There are 3 statues on the front there. You have Lou Boudreau, Bob Feller, Larry Doby, and further within the gates is one of Jim Thome. This opened in '94 and is celebrating its 30th anniversary as a ballpark. At the entrance, you have a few of the team's most significant seasons highlighted here, with also some of the team's retired numbers. And on the ground, you also have a couple of significant dates, like this one, which was when the streak of no playoffs for, I believe, over 30 years you had snapped when the Indians went to the playoffs and won their division. Now, just off to the side, despite the Guardians getting rid of most of the Indians' imagery and logos and such, down here to the side of the stadium you can see the Indian eye is still here in front of the bench, and also here to the right on this big stone. So, you know, a lot of renovations done to the stadium, like this home plate club. They blasted out a whole bunch of seats to build this. They've done many additions and subtractions to this stadium over the years. This is the back end behind home plate. They've kind of added a bunch more progressive advertising. Personally, I think it's kind of overkill. Now, the renovation is still going on. They're completely basically gutting and redoing the team offices and adding another floor to the building. So this is just a little bit of a look from up above. The new renovation right there is complete on top of the upper deck. The Terrace Club renovation still going on there, covered up. And then you have a look at the infield. This stadium and then Gund Arena, along with this plaza, was all part of the Gateway project. Both of these were built at the same time with the sin tax, which was a tax passed by voters on alcohol and cigarettes, and that has been extended through today and still is collected for these venues. So here we have the home run marker for the longest home run ever hit in this ballpark by Jim Thome in 1999, 511 feet. And this is right where the ballpark ends. And to put this into perspective, home plate way over there was hit down where the marker was, bounced into the street here, Eagle Avenue, and nobody really knows where it went from there. Here we have next to the stadium a set of letters spelled out here, who's on first, question mark. So next we have Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, opened in '94 as Gund Arena to a capacity of 20,562. Has been renamed a couple times, Quicken Loans Arena, now Rocket Mortgage. So like at Progressive Field, there's a message here written in stones. This one says, "Meet me here." And according to the names on it, this must have been, I presume, funded by the Cavaliers ownership at the time, the Guns, along with a few others. So not long ago, the Cavs and the city funded a major renovation to the front of the arena. You can see what it used to look like compared to today. This basically expanded the arena's indoor space by a little bit. They had to do a lot of work here. There's even a little stub there on the parking garage to show you where one of the old walkways were. You can see it sticking out there. And this was a very well done project. Really reinvigorated the arena. So here we have what is a very long and very 1990s looking walkway that would take you all the way to Gund Arena. It's much longer than this, but it is closed now. I went through it once when it was open, and it's very long. I'll show it to you from the outside, but really, I don't believe any of this has been touched since it was built. There's just a closer look at the sign, very old school. And looking back, this connects to the Tower City shopping mall, or what's left of it as a mall, way down there. Now, just to give you a little perspective, that was where we were, and right there, that lighter colored building is the walkway. You can see the windows there to it, and it just goes on all the way until you go right under the arena right there.
Next we have what is probably currently the worst of the four venues in Cleveland, and that is Cleveland State University's Wolstein Center. Now this began construction in 1989, and at that time it was believed that this was going to be Cleveland's main downtown arena, because the main arena for the region at the time was Richfield Coliseum, which was about 20 miles away from downtown Cleveland. But while it was being constructed, funding was passed for a larger and much more state-of-the-art arena in what would become Gund Arena. The Wolstein Center would open in 1991 at a capacity of 13,610, but it would exist for only 3 years before Gund Arena would open and quickly make this arena quite obsolete. With this arena, it really just had a bad capacity number because it was too big for smaller type of concerts that might draw maybe 8,000, and it was definitely too big for CSU basketball games, while at the same time it was too small for the large arena tours that would command several thousand more in capacity than what this arena could offer.
And because Cleveland State basketball is just not a huge draw, they have to curtain off a lot of seats, like a huge side of the arena, just to kind of make it look a little more presentable. Was not really well thought out as far as capacity. It's hard to show you too much with the glare, but you can see it's just a very basic type arena concourse. Nothing special. I mean, it's a college arena, so that kind of makes sense. But really just kind of built at the wrong time. Built before arenas kind of started to look a little bit nicer looking. You know, this is okay, but there's already been talks about trying to get rid of it. I don't know if they'll do that or not, but I'm sure if they do, it would be smaller in capacity than this, because there just isn't the need for a second arena in Cleveland at that type of capacity. All right, so here we have the most recently built of the four, and that is Cleveland Browns Stadium. This opened in 1999, was renovated heavily in 2014. The end zone sides were pretty much wiped out from the top to the middle and were rebuilt to what you see there and on the other side. And over here we have a statue of probably the best Browns quarterback of all time to date, Otto Graham. This was added a few years ago. So this is just the front of the stadium, and to the left down here are the dedication plaques to the stadium. First, you have the main one showing those who were responsible for this stadium project. Opened on August 21st, 99. And then here, this was added just as sort of to show the origin of the stadium, about how the team was taken away, and then this stadium got built, and the Browns came back a few years later, as we all know.
Outside on the front of the stadium, you have several plaques dedicated to most of the Browns Hall of Famers. You can recognize several of these names without much introduction, and this just kind of goes along the front of the stadium for about 100 feet or so.
And then we have the Jim Brown statue. This was the first statue built at the stadium. Pretty long overdue, really. And it is seen by everybody that comes through the gates on this side. Now, this is something I did not know about until very recently. I was at a flea market and I saw a book called Back Home by Tim Graham, and there is a train station themed to the Browns. I can't get in here right now, it's not open, but I did go down here when it was open, and I do have a few pictures and video I can show you from a previous time I was here, so I will show you that in the clip right now.
So that was a little bit of a detailed look at the stadiums and arenas of Cleveland, Ohio. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.